Welcome to the Well Within radio podcast. I am your host, Shalina Litt. How are you? Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I am well, thanks.
This means I get the chance. I actually prefer it like this because, of course,
we can have a bit more chats.
Yeah, because when Talisa was here, obviously I got the chance to speak to her about her journey and what she's doing. And quite equally, you're doing very different stuff, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about you for a minute, right?
Okay.
Let's talk about...
on the hot seat.
So, how did you get into this work? Like, what's your story? Everyone has a story.
Yes. Well, when you say work, do you mean mental health or what we do specifically with Melanin Moods?
What was your story in terms of falling into this work?
Mental health.
Yeah.
I think it was my own personal experiences, actually. I've shared a few times, and you can probably see it more on my own kind of platforms, that I'm an identical twin. I'm an identical twin, but unfortunately, I lost my sister when we were 9 years old. And I think it was just, being from the Black Caribbean community, Rasta and Christian background, that the idea of having therapy or having support or having someone to talk to was just never considered. It wasn't an idea that, I've lost my twin sister in quite a traumatic way, might be beneficial to talk to someone. So I think that kind of influenced my wanting to help others who had similar experiences as me. So when I first started thinking about mental health, I was actually wanting to really work with other twinless twins. I call myself a twinless twin. People who have experienced twin loss. And I do, in some of my work, still work with twinless twins, but my work has kind of broached and grown a lot more since then. So that's what kind of was the first passion that ignited my desire to work in mental health and all my studying since then.
Yeah, no, I really didn't know that.
Oh,
really,
yeah.
that is something. So grief was a big thing then, a big, and I do see that actually grief and mental health are they're just so closely aligned.
Yeah, they really are.
It's such a big one.
Yeah.
And
I do want to normalize, because grief in itself is a very, very normal thing that people experience. So when I say normal, it's understandable that people are going to feel sad, you're going to cry, you're going to be angry, all these different emotions that you feel. So feeling grief in response to a bereavement is totally normal. But sometimes we can get stuck in that grief, and that's when we would say it becomes maybe moving into depression or other kind of mental health problems. So I definitely don't want anyone to think who's grieving right now that they've got a mental health difficulty, because I don't. You're just grieving, which is understandable.
Yeah. I do remember quite recently you had the pleasure of meeting Joella, right?
Yes. Yeah.
When Joella passed, I remember going to the hospital with heart pain, and they did the what do you call it? The
ECG?
ECG,
Yeah.
That was it. They'd done the ECG. No, everything's fine. And I was just like, oh my God. And she was like, yeah, this is grief. This is heartache. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And, right there, I thought, I get it. When you get couples and then one goes and then one goes quite closely after,
yeah.
I was just like, whoa. And I've never experienced that level, and then I realized that actually this topic around grief was almost like, you have a period of time to grieve, but then there comes almost like this cut-off point where you feel like you need to stop talking.
Yeah.
But what I love is how you have now injected that talking space into the work that you do with Melanin Moods, which we're working up to, right? We're getting there. But really important because, as you said, some people might think they're grieving but appear like they're actually having a mental breakdown. So how did you start to then tap into, because you've become a doctor now?
I am a doctor, yes.
Congratulations. I love it. I love it. And I'm like, whenever someone does that, I'm like, you deserve to be called doctor because you worked for that. So what are the qualifications that you led up to you being getting your doctorate?
So my first degree is in psychology. That's my bachelor's, and I studied at Aston University. My second degree is my first postgrad, and I studied at UCL in London, and that's in cognitive behavioural therapy, but low interventions. And then my third degree is in also CBT, but more high intensity, in depth, kind of for a wider range of
let
mental
everybody
health
recover.
problems.
Let everyone recover. Like you're just skating over. Yeah, my first degree, and then my second degree, and then my third degree. Like, was there a fourth?
Yeah. So then my fourth degree. So that's what actually my fourth degree is what made me a doctorate. So that's where I did my
I feel emotional.
Psychology.
I feel emotional. That is amazing.
Yeah.
What?
Thank you. Thank
oh
you.
my gosh. Okay.
So yeah, I studied for 9 years to get to this level of being a doctor in mental health.
So what was going on? Like, it wasn't enough. You so because you were slowly channeling in one kind of.
Yeah, I was. It wasn't enough. Because one of my core therapies that I'm trained and also accredited in is cognitive behavioural therapy. So I'm a cognitive behavioural psychotherapist as well. But I felt like it wasn't enough for the range of people that I was working with, and the kind of range of presentations I was working with as well. Like, lots of people work really, really well with CBT, but some people just don't. And I'd felt ill-equipped to kind of support those people who didn't fit with CBT. And I also wanted to do more than just therapy. So as a psychologist now, I do more than just therapy. I'm a lot more into leadership and organisational change and cultural change, which is a massive part of ensuring that mental health does change, and is more equitable for different communities. So that one, feeling ill-equipped for some of my clients I was working with, or wanting to be able to help them better, and two, wanting to make more of a systemic change as well.
So where along this journey did you meet Miss Talisa?
So I met Miss Talisa actually at our alumni. So we both studied at Aston University. However, we didn't meet when we were students. We met when we both went back to work there. So we both went back to work at Aston University.
Okay.
In their mental health department for students. And that's where we met. And we literally just hit it off from there. And how kind of Melanin Moods was then birthed from that is because we was asked at Aston University to deliver a Black History Month workshop for the African and Caribbean students, which was focused on mental health, but, you know, nuance for them to attend. And from there, we was like, yeah, this is needed, this is necessary. And we just grew from there.
Wow.
And that's how it started.
So I can imagine that conversation must have been quite a heavy one then, when you start to open that box, you know, I suppose we could say, like, you know, and you start looking at, you know, Black mental health, but then we start to segregate and we look at, you know, Black men's mental health and Black women's mental health.
Yeah.
Like, really, then the heartstrings start pushing, because of course when we go to university, we are exposed to lots of theory, we are exposed to lots of statistics that starts building a picture.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, definitely.
Where you see this disempowerment in the community, and yet we've been empowered with knowledge now for ourselves that we could gladly just tuck in our handbags and move along with. So what was it that kind of you and Talisa ended up saying that said, you know, was the mission statement developed like, this is what our intention is going to be? Like, I'm just wondering if that intention has also transformed.
I think it was a variety of things, really. So our kind of mission statement for Melanin Moods is to reduce the stigma, remove the taboo, and increase the mental health resilience of our community. So it was a few things, like knowing the statistics of like Black mental health in general, like especially for Black men, more likely to be sectioned and more likely to enter mental health services through the criminal justice system. Black people as a general in the community are more likely to actually experience common mental health problems, which is a whole different discussion in itself, because it's about socioeconomic factors, but then less likely to actually access mental health services or support. And having worked in NHS services for many, many years, both myself and Talisa, we knew that there was a gap. Like, we just weren't necessarily seeing people that looked like us in the service. And when we weren't necessarily able to offer them a service that we knew would meet them where they were at and their needs. So that's where Melanin Moods was birthed, because we knew that we needed something that thought about Black and brown mental health more specifically, which was nuanced in a way which people would actually attend, because not everyone wants to go to the GP and have, you know, a therapy session or talk about their problems there. So we're just missing a huge amount of people that way. So that's where Melanin Moods was kind of birthed from. So it was about the statistics and also about our personal work experience, and seeing that or the lack of reflection in an NHS services. And then also just personally, like different factors, you know, we're both from the inner city of Birmingham. Like, we've just grown up around circumstances where mental health is never talked about. It's never the thing. It's always, everyone's got that, you know, quote unquote, crazy auntie or crazy uncle, which you never really think about. But actually that person probably actually really could benefit from some mental health support, but it's just seen as something that it is not to be addressed or not to be discussed, or it's just the way that they are. But does it have to be?
Yeah. Now, I know that you come from a really big family.
I do.
A really big family who have all really just got their own initiatives happening. You know, I grew up with Nathan, actually.
Yeah.
I was at the first class youth meeting.
Oh,
yes.
Throwback.
Real big
They
throwback.
had their 20-year anniversary recently.
Oh, yes.
For first class.
Honestly, it's so beautiful seeing it. Even Leon Moses, he was at that meeting. Like, it was just phenomenal. Like, I remember in Newtown.
Yes.
Like, we met up and, you know. I think the reality of, you know, being in a setting where we say, okay, this is what the mission's going to be. And then you then start putting in the work, meeting the community, and you've had some really good topics, you know. Please share some of your gems. This is what I'm really getting at, is because how can I not have you on the show and have the opportunity for us to actually look at some constructive ways of moving forward? I mean, I know you've got the barbershop, right? Let's talk about that first.
Yeah, so Barbershop Chronicles is our monthly men's program. It's specifically for Black men, but sometimes we do open it up to the wider community, because we know that, you know, it's just important actually to have that connection with other people. We don't live by ourselves, do we? We live in an integrated community, so it's important to have that, but also still acknowledging the fact that Black mental health sometimes is very nuanced and very specific, so it needs that protected and safe space. So that's every month. We tend to have a theme, so each month is a different theme. We've talked about trauma, we've talked about depression, we've talked about anxiety. Next month actually is going to be about grief. I know we started talking about that earlier, so next month is going to be focused on grief, and it's just about talking about the Black men's experiences, but also thinking about what helps. So it's an opportunity just to get together to talk, but also learn at the same time. So Barbershop Chronicles is always facilitated by a trained mental health professional, which is what makes us a little bit different from other peer support groups, which are just peer-led, which is great and fine in itself, because our group is definitely peer-led to an extent, but it's also, you're going to get that mental health trained support there as well. And we also have the sister program, which is literally for our Black sisters. Wow. So that is called Crown Talks. And we do that not as frequently, because one thing we've noticed that Black women and women in general, they will roll out in their droves and in their numbers, and they will come to everything that we offer. So events, programs, workshops, women will be there, Black women will be there. So the reason we do the Black men's barbershop monthly is because they won't necessarily go to other events, but they need something, so that's why it's more often. Crown Talks tends to be bi-monthly, and we have that in a hairdresser. So just like barbershops for men is in a barbershop, Crown Talks for women is in a hairdresser, and it's a similar kind of discussion, talking about mental health with trained mental health professionals to kind of give that feedback and support.
So there's a lot of discord, right, between when it comes to co-parenting. I feel like there's a lot of emotion. I feel like the trust has built within the men's group, men's group.
Yeah.
I've seen barbershop evolve.
Yeah.
So I feel like that narrative would have evolved. What's the truth? What's the truth? What are men saying in that bar? They're cussing. I can imagine. You know what? This baby mother done. Like, what's the truth? Come on.
Do you know what? The truth is, the first one was...
I'd love to be a fly on the wall, by the way. Like.
So many people say that, and we've had actually so many women try to turn up and attend. I'm like, no.
You're joking.
Yeah. Because people, I think sometimes
security.
Sometimes it's misunderstood, but it's definitely a space just for men. So we have had, like, on several occasions, actually, women have attended, and we've been like, I'm so sorry, but you can't stay. It's for men only. But the one thing that I will definitely say is black men do talk, they do care, and they do love hard. And sometimes we hear that they don't, and they don't care, and they don't love, but they really, really, really do. One of the topics that we couldn't move away from for months was relationships, and how important relationships were to them, and how much they wanted them to work, and the sense of loyalty or hurt or pain that they've experienced in relationships. So that was a massive topic, and I think that was something that literally blew mine and Talisa's minds, because being a woman in relationship with black men, it's just like
I see a book.
Yeah,
I feel like you need to write a book. Is it coming?
Sometimes we're just
exclusive.
Really, that's interesting. Might be throwing some of our own personal dilemmas in there, and getting their perspective on it.
So that's what that was about.
Yeah. So it's really, really, really good. But that's the one thing I would definitely say, that black men do care, they do love, and they do talk, because
I think you need to write a book. I'm not joking. Melanin Moods. Seriously, fly on the wall.
Yeah.
That's what I call it. Bestseller, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to get I'm not going to leave this subject out. I just want to. So, I do think if you look at the social construct of the black man, I do think they've been sexualized. And so this is the problem, is that they want to be loved.
Yeah.
They want to be taken seriously. But, all women want is sexual gratification. Am I right?
To some extent, yes.
Okay.
So we recently, actually, one of our other kind of staple events is something called Convos and Cocktails. You yourself have been at one, yes. Shalina, haven't you?
I have, yeah.
He was a guest speaker for one of our events. And our last one was actually on black culture and the relationship with sex. And we did talk about how sometimes men are often fetishized and sexualized, not only by actually, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say more so by other ethnicities. Yeah. And some of the men spoke about literally being groped on a daily basis, sometimes in schools, which we were talking about sexual assault and stuff, which is a sexual assault, but because they're black men and not often sexualized and seen in this image, it's something that is just dismissed and just seen, oh, okay, it's just part of your experience, but it's not. It shouldn't have to be anyway. No. So yeah, I do think men we sometimes think that men are the ones who are the sexual beings and care a lot about it, but no, they want that love and romance and affection too. Like, they want to talk too. Like, so yeah.
So you've really, honestly, I'm waiting for your awards, right? I'm sure you guys have been up for loads of awards, right? Are there any coming up now?
We've been nominated. We've made it to finalists for the RAYAC Awards. Yeah, we have been a winner for their awards before in the past. So it'll be amazing if we win again.
Heard it here. Go nominate now, okay? Because you're walking away a winner in my eyes. Very inspirational, honestly.
Thank you.
So this is just, I guess, naturally led up to this event that you've got coming up.
Yes, Black History Month. So it's an event. Obviously, we're Melanin Moods. We're a service that is focused on black and brown mental health. So we couldn't let Black History Month pass by without recognising and honouring that from a mental health perspective. So our event is called Strong Mind, Black History, Black Futures. And it's all about recognising the mental health support that is available for people across Birmingham and surrounding areas, because that's one thing that we know, that one shoe doesn't fit all. There needs to be a range of different kind of services and provisions and events to really meet the needs of everyone in the community, because everyone's going to need something slightly different. So our event is both a showcase of some of the local mental health services, grassroots, and like the national NHS ones. We've got Birmingham Healthy Minds from the NHS, we've got Birmingham Mind Charity, but also some really great local organisations like Journal to Dreams, Vision for All coming to be part of our mental health marketplace. We've got some really great speakers from different Black-led services, Patty Giff, ACCI and Our Roots, and we've got some amazing performances, because it's not only learning but it's also a celebration. So expect lots of singing, lots of spoken word with some African drummers, candy floss for the kids, face painting. It's a family fun, friendly day, but you're also going to leave informed, knowing more about Black mental health and knowing where you can go for support if you need it.
So Black History Month, is that meant to encompass Black and brown people then?
Black History, yeah. Black History Month. I don't know. I feel like the kind of focus of it has changed in recent years, and it's not necessarily getting the recognition that it used to do. Because typically you would see lots of like organisations and businesses and stuff like that really honouring and recognising it. And for me, it's felt a bit silent this year. I have seen stuff, but it has felt a bit silent. But it is mainly about Black figures and Black historical figures. It was created to recognise the journey that Black people went through, moving from slavery to where we are now in 2025, and recognising all the figures along the way who have really been influential in making a difference for Black people, whether that's from, the Caribbean, African diaspora, wherever you may be, mixed, everything.
Yeah, I think there has to be a distinction. You can't compare Black and brown. I'm sorry, but the dynamics and the social history, there are, especially when it comes to mental health. Like, you can't. So so clearly, then over the years, it's evolving, and it is becoming more about Black History Month. Yeah, because it's quite an insult when you go into a location, then you'll see like someone who's brown, and then you're like, well, I got confused in the beginning, but
I think it's important to recognise both, because when we're thinking about mental health statistics and who's like affected, like the biggest demographic group in terms of when we think about who's overrepresented is going to be Black people, but then second is always brown. So it's important to recognise that, unfortunately, we shouldn't be the top two either way, Black and brown, but we are the top two. It's Black first, and then it's always brown people after that. So, well,
I hope that very soon it's not just a month, and it's actually just everyday practice. That we're aware, and history should incorporate everyone's history at the end of the day. So when is it?
So it's this Sunday. Ooh. So it's coming up very, very soon. Sunday, the 26th of October. It's at the Legacy Centre, aka the Drum. I still call it the Drum, and sometimes I have to remind myself it's now called the Legacy Centre of Excellence, 2 to 6 p.m. You can register on Eventbrite, which you can just go onto Eventbrite and search the Melanin Moods, and all of our events will come up. Or you can go to our website, which is www.melaninmoodscic.co.uk, and you can register that way. It is basically free, but it's £1. It's £1, and the only reason we've done that is because we want people to register if you're truly coming, because we want to get an accurate depiction of how many people are expecting, so that we can, plan and prepare properly. So we find that adding a little bit of a fee is a deterrent from people registering with no intention of coming. So please do come. We're so excited. We've got some great speakers, some great performances, and it's going to be a great afternoon of just connection.
This Sunday.
And it's this Sunday.
Better be
Sunday, yes.
One not to miss.
Yes.
Oh, brilliant. I'm definitely going to have to come through. I think we're at the hike actually this Sunday.
Ah, yes, I know. You're at the hike, so...
do forgive me. Oh, yeah, that's why I couldn't.
Yes,
you did ask me to come, bless. But yes, we'll be looking for the highlights, I'm sure. I know you've got some great people there. And yeah, I'm sure if everybody doesn't know, Melanin Moods, wherever, all over social media, right?
LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere.
Got no excuse. Before I let you go, you know.
Yes.
4 degrees, Dr. Chanelle. Since this show is all about holistic well-being, what do you do? What's your well-being routine? No.
My well-being.
Your well-being.
Okay. Well, one thing that you'll see on my socials is that I travel. I am always trying to get out of this country whenever I can, because sometimes it's just bad vibes in the UK. So one thing that is really important for me and is an overall bigger part of influencing my well-being is just traveling, seeing different cultures, getting a bit of vitamin D, especially when it's dark and gloomy here. So that's a massive thing that I really, really enjoy and really value, and I try to get away as often as possible. That's probably like one of my hobbies, actually. I literally just look at the sky scanner and see, where can I go? Can I go away for 2 days? And that's the type of person I am. So that's a massive thing for me. Also, faith is a massive important part for me as well, and I think really helps in my own well-being. So I'm a Christian, so I think my relationship with God helps to look after me. Journaling, I love journaling. I used to be like so consistent with journaling almost every single day. I find now that I go through ebbs and flows with journaling. Sometimes I journal a lot, sometimes I don't journal as much, but that's another thing. And connection, so whether that's connection with people, family and friends, or connection with just the outdoors and kind of seeing green spaces and going for walks and stuff like that, all part of my well-being. And one thing that I do love is a spa day as well. Love a spa.
Yes.
But I'm very bougie with spas these days.
You'll have to recommend one to me. My birthday's coming up.
Yes.
And I was like, they were like, what are you doing for your birthday? And I was like, nothing.
Yes.
I'm going to a spa. I'm going to book myself in a hotel.
Yes, that's what I
love.
love.
Turn off my phone. Sit down with a pen and journal.
Yes.
And just sit in silence.
Now that sounds perfect to me. And I actually love and prefer a solo spa day. I don't mind going on spa dates with the girls or whatever, but sometimes just leave me be. Let me be by myself.
I am on a silent inner self. It's been such a pleasure having you on.
Thank you so much for having me.
And I'm sure you're going to be back.
Yes,
because there'll be more events, God willing, you know?
Always, yes.
Okay.